Star Trek, Star Trek. Let's talk about Star Trek. But before I talk about Star Trek, let me apologize for the audio quality of this particular video. My good mics are packed up right now because I was doing some recording and I don't feel like getting them out and doing one video with them and then trying to put them back away for what I'm going to do tomorrow. So I thought I'd just use my webcam mic. If the sound sucks, I really do apologize for that, and it will improve in the future. So announced today, new Star Trek series. Which I find very exciting. But no sooner was this announced that pretty much every thread that I saw on it on Facebook or elsewhere was full of people reacting very negatively towards it, like lots of vitriol, lots of hate, and more than a few comments about Axanar. But I wanted to give my perspective on it and to kind of pull back on the negativity a little bit and give a little more balanced response to this announcement and the trailer that is associated with it. So first of all, a little bit of background. The last Star Trek series was Star Trek Enterprise. It was canceled. It did not make it through its full 7-year run. I thought Star Trek Enterprise was actually quite a good series. I liked the direction that it went in. I know that there's people who think very much the opposite. It didn't seem to really be a big hit with fans, and it ended up in like the Friday night death slot and eventually got canceled, which was really unfortunate. That also spelled the end of the what we call the Rick Berman era of Star Trek, where Star Trek was managed by Rick Berman, which is basically Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise. Those were sort of his children, I suppose, after Gene Roddenberry died. But I liked those series, and I liked Rick Berman's work with Star Trek. I know some people do not share that opinion. But after we had that series in, it was like a big damper on Star Trek because Star Trek had been really, really successful throughout the 1990s and had seemed to really had like a second spring and really grown and put out, there's a lot of good things. There were novels that were written. There's lots of good stuff based on Star Trek that came out besides just the series. But the series produced huge amounts of content, just massive amounts of content, and a lot of it was good. I have felt that Star Trek has always breathed best as a series, and there's a bunch of reasons for that I'll get into in a second. But after that damper was put on it, we had to wait a couple years, and then we got the J.J. Abrams reboot. And initially, I was very excited about the reboot, not because I thought the reboot was a terribly good movie. I thought it was kind of average. I didn't think it was as bad as some people think it is. The first one, at least, Star Trek Into Darkness, I thought was quite bad. But the first one wasn't that bad. I got kind of excited because I was like, all right, well, now we're going to get Star Trek with the big budget treatment. Because the first movie was kind of like, I felt like it was Star Trek, but Star Wars in a way. So I thought, okay, this new one, we're going to get the big budget treatment, which is a very exciting idea because Star Trek hasn't really gotten that treatment, the blockbuster treatment. And I thought it might expand a lot of the possibilities of what could be done with Star Trek. I was incorrect. That has really kind of stifled the possibilities of Star Trek. And the reason for that is because whenever you're making a big budget movie, you have to hedge those bets. It's a gamble. So you got to play it safe and you got to play to whatever is going to help you make that money back. And Star Trek Into Darkness definitely did that. So I've been, I've had to sort of reevaluate my position on that. Now, the reason that I think Star Trek works so well as a series is because unlike a movie where you have the cost of a movie and you have to recoup it, with a series, you have the cost of the series as a whole. Each episode is produced jointly with every other episode. So in each individual episode, you can take a lot more risks as a writer and as a filmmaker versus what you would do in a movie because you're only making up, with each episode, you're only making up one part of the whole. And although you want each episode to be good, you have a lot more options to figure out what good will mean. And within a 1-hour show, if you come out with an hour show that just doesn't hit the mark or people are not real excited about, it's okay. There's always next week. There's always that next hour. And I think as a result, you end up with a lot of great Star Trek episodes. There are Star Trek episodes that are better than Star Trek movies, like Chain of Command, and I mean everybody's going to have one that they love. At least one episode that they just think is like an incredible piece of work. And I think that we can see those, and I think there's so many different opinions on what those great episodes are because of the risks that are taken in a series format. Because you could take a lot more risks on each individual one. I also like Star Trek series have focused a lot more on the moral questions, not some kind of like space opera thing that they do with the current Star Trek movies now. And the third one, by the way, I do not think I will see it in theaters because I have not been led to believe it will be good by the last few Star Trek movies. But as certainly as a series, I think getting to tackle those big moral questions, the ethical questions, the questions about technology and about society and people, I there's so much more room to explore those ideas in a series where you can take your time in a 1 hour show to really dig into something because people have different expectations going into that 1 hour show. They're not expecting to be blasted with entertainment for 2 hours. So I think that helps. Let's also keep in mind with this series, like I said, I have seen a lot of vitriol come out about the series. And I think that vitriol is sort of a carryover. Most of it, I feel like, is a carryover from the movies that we've had recently. But let's keep one thing in mind, is that there's actually two entities that are dealing with Star Trek right now, two legal entities. There's CBS, which is going to be making this new movie, and then there is Paramount, which has made, or CBS is going to make the new series, and Paramount, which has made all of the recent movies or has the movie rights. So the movie rights with Paramount, TV rights with CBS. Why is that important? Well, that means that what Paramount chooses to do with their movies does not necessarily affect what CBS chooses to do with their series. The CBS series has a possibility of actually being quite good because of that separation. And that separation happened because the old company that owned everything, Viacom, split up into a couple of different companies, kind of spun off Paramount, spun off CBS. And so each of them ended up retaining part of the rights. I'm not quite sure how it all works. I do know I think they're both suing Axanar, which is interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But personally, I'm not that worried about the series. Let's talk briefly about the trailer, if we can. The trailer is not a good trailer. Let me say that. All it is, it's like a couple of shots of some like computer generated space scenes, and then like some words that fly at you, and some of the old nostalgic music, and that's all you get. This is a trailer that's designed specifically to tease people and to sort of start building on the pre-hype of a new series coming out on CBS. That's all it does. And I think that the fact that it doesn't show us anything, there's no faces in it, I think that that's actually kind of a bad thing. I don't think I would have done that because now people are just kind of like, well, why aren't you showing us anything? But there are some things in the trailer that I think we should pay attention to because I think they'll inform whether or not we want to have any kind of anticipation for this. And I will wait till it comes out to really see it and judge it. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to see it now. But one of the things that, one of those, I mentioned the words coming out. One of the things that they said in the trailer is that they said there'd be new crews. Crews with an S, a plural, crews. And that, to me, is very encouraging because, first of all, it's not, then if it was the old crew, if it was like the crew from the Abrams verse or something, they would probably just say that. It's like the heroes you love or something like that. They would play to that nostalgia. But they're like new crews. That can mean a couple things. So first of all, it means maybe some characters that we don't know yet, which is great. I think that we should let the older characters that have been developed over countless novels and TV shows, let them rest, and let's work on some new characters. I'm much more interested in new characters in this universe than I am in my old characters that I've already known for so long. I'm just not interested in more stories about Captain Kirk, whether it's a new version of Captain Kirk or not. So new crews that interest me. The fact that it's more than one crew could mean that you have several spaceship crews that you see in a season, or it switches between what crew you get to see, or that, as some people have suggested, there's a rumor going around that each season will be a different crew. Both of those things to me seem very exciting because they to me will keep it from getting particularly stale. Other people are not as excited about that. They really want to have one crew for a long time, and I could see both perspectives. But I think it's good to have like some good amount of variety. And if you're having a lot of variety, you're kind of throwing stuff at the wall, and you can kind of see really easily what sticks. So people really like this episode. Let's give them more of those characters that they liked from this one episode. So I think that'd be it could be good, and I actually am kind of excited about that idea. The main thing is I think it's going to be something that's not like the same old schlock again, and that's interesting. The other thing to keep in mind about this trailer and the possibility of a new show are some of the personalities involved with it, because this is from Trek News. If we look down here, there's Alan Kurtzman, Brian Fuller, Rod Roddenberry. That should mean something to you. As executive producers with Nicholas Meyer, who directed Wrath of Khan and Undiscovered Country, that's Star Trek 2 and 6, and co-wrote Voyage Home, which is Star Trek 4. Not as big a fan of Star Trek 4 as some people. He's serving as a writer and a consulting producer. The fact that he's doing the writing means that you have somebody who has a proven track record of producing good Trek, actually uh, heavily involved in it. So that's very, very encouraging. Those are really encouraging things. So a lot of the negativity, a lot of the vitriol, kind of pull back on that. There's some good names associated with this that have a strong artistic attachment to the way Trek was before J.J. Abrams kind of Star Warsized it. Not that there's anything wrong with Star Wars that J.J. Abrams didn't do, but that I really do think that we have some personalities that are involved that will give that big Trek fan base a lot more of what it will want. I think we have a much better chance of that. So I think those are all really encouraging things. There is one very unencouraging thing that I have read, and that is that the premiere will be on broadcast TV, so free. That episode and all subsequent episodes will be exclusively shown in the U.S. on the video streaming service CBS All Access. I do not like that. What I feel like that basically is you're asking people to buy a whole service essentially to watch one show, because that's what Trek fans are willing to do in a lot of cases. Because people love Star Trek so much, they're willing to buy a service and watch one show on it. And I could tell you, like, I'm not really interested in any other show CBS would be putting out right now. Personally, I'm not interested in any of them. So the fact that I would have to pony up cash in order to watch the one show I care about, I'm not super happy about it. I wish they would rather, I'd rather that they either do it all broadcast. I don't watch broadcast TV, but maybe have it streaming with ads or something to monetize it. At least to sort of prove that it has value before they start asking people for money up front before they can start to see the new Star Trek. So that part I understand the negative reaction to, and I agree with it. I do think the vitriol towards the movies is earned, but I think one of the benefits of this sort of separation is now we maybe get to have something, a possibility of something better and different. A return to a series format would really, really excite me personally, because I think Star Trek is best as a series. That's my opinion, and that's the way that I've experienced the biggest impact from Star Trek has been from its episodes and actually not its movies. And that's me. And I really enjoy the risk taking that the writers take. There are some bad Star Trek episodes out there, but because there's the bad ones and they took the risks, they also took the risks and made some really good ones. Thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you want to see and what you want to hear. Please let me know your opinion on the new Star Trek trailer. I'll try to link everything that's relevant down in the comments, including the trailer, which, like I said, I don't think is a very good trailer, but it does reveal, it does tease us enough that I'm not going to jump on the negativity bandwagon on this one. To me, I'm rather optimistic about the possibilities of what a new Star Trek series could be, given who's delivering it to us. But please let me know what you think about it, because I am interested in that. And please let me know what you want to see in the future. I'm always happy to deliver if I can, and I want you to have a great night or great day whenever you happen to be watching it. I really, really appreciate having you along.